What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Gaming Channel. I'm AJ Gels. How's it going? Hope you all are doing just fine. Finally, I have enough time to do this video. I talked about this at the end of the weekly show on Saturday. I wanted to do these couple articles, or this article in this video, at the end of that video, except it would have made the thing way too damn long. So what we're going to be doing is taking a look at Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden. This is a game I think I've heard about in the past, but I haven't really seen anything of it until about last week. Basically, we're going to read this article on PC Gamer, West Fenland, and then 30 minutes of a gameplay video by Eurogamer. There's commentary in that, so I'll be pausing and doing my own commentary. But this is from the former Hitman designer, so I think a bunch of people, I read it, I think it was on IGN. They also had an article on this one, but it was really similar to this one, so that's why I don't have it up. What did they say? I believe this is a chunk of people who worked at IO Interactive on Hitman came and worked on this project, which is let's get into the article and then I'll explain this. If you thought XCOM and Mario was a weird pitch for a video game, Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden is here to blow your mind with an even more bizarre pitch. XCOM and Howard the Duck. Plus stealth, plus about 30 years of RPG heritage, pulled from a Swedish pen and paper game called Mutant that first debuted in 1984. The video game is weird as hell after watching an hour demo and drilling the developers for more details. I also think it's going to be really fucking cool. I have no doubt. Everything I've seen of this, it actually looks a lot sharper than you'd think for, this is being called an indie project. But, the game looks sharp. I love the concept. I like the XCOM style combat. It's kind of reminding me a little bit of Wasteland, if anybody remembers that. But let's keep going. Genetically mutated animals and humans are scavenging and fighting to survive in the post-apocalypse. Exploration of Mutant's near-future post-apocalyptic setting adds the biggest twist to XCOM's formula. With characters to level up, loot to find, and story to unravel, it also gives you the opportunity to stealthily roam around an area before triggering combat. Like a typical RPG, everything plays out in real time as you're roaming around the world. Once you start a fight, though, or get spotted while you're trying to get into position, it's pure tactical XCOM. When you understand the pedigree behind Mutant Year Zero, its addition of more robust stealth than what you would see in XCOM 2 starts to make a lot of sense. The team and I met with included former lead designers from IO Interactive who worked on the last two Hitman games. I really hate their font or the size of the PC Gamer is always really hard for me to read. And I quote, "This is actually a game I wanted to do 10 years ago, but couldn't fund it." There we go. Couldn't find the opening to do it, said David Scarin, who was the lead gameplay designer on 2016's Hitman. He roped in former Hitman level design lead Lee Varley and Ulf Andersson, that's correct, who co-founded Overkill Studio and designed the Payday games. "I grew up on these things," said Andersson, motioning to the Mutant RPG book they brought along to show off. "This is one of the things I always wanted to make. The whole entire Swedish developer scene of my age wants to do this game." End quote. Mutant revolves around a safe haven called the Ark, a sort of shanty town safe haven for mutant humans, goddamn, and animals built on top of a bridge. In the game, the graphics aren't completely finished, and it's a bit empty, but the soft glow of neon lights and fire barrels dot the trellises, I think is that word, and light up the makeshift shacks. Here, there's a bar for taking on missions, a crafting station, and the chambers of the Elder, a frail, old, and mysteriously unmutated human who looks after the survivors of the Ark like his children. So yeah, this is reminding me definitely I'm getting kind of a pseudo Fallout vibe, like I said, Wasteland vibe. There's one other game, it's another tabletop. This is not a test. If anybody knows what This Is Not a Test is. Really similar to that. It reminds me of this. I just like how one of your characters is literally a duck. That just makes me smile. But I think this is a really cool thing. I want more games like this that kind of bring tabletop RPGs into the video game. I don't want to say video game setting, but I want to see more like tabletop RPGs really get their their time on consoles, and this is coming to PC, PS4, and Xbox One. But I want to see them kind of come more to the video game side of things, but still retain that uniqueness of a tabletop RPG. I really think that like CD Projekt Red is going to be doing that with Cyberpunk 2077. So I'm really interested in that game, and this might be a nice kind of like halfway something to play while I'm waiting for that game to come out. Let's see here. Mutant Revolt. Yeah, we already read that. Paragraph. Next paragraph. Everything outside the arc is the zone, where you'll explore, scavenge for resources, and meet new characters to recruit into your party. Varley compared the way you'll expand your party to Japanese RPGs. Those new characters will have a story that comes along with them. All of this comes straight out of the pen and paper RPG. And I quote, "It's not a resource management game in the same way as XCOM, but you do bring artifacts and things back from the zone, which improve the lives of those people." Said Scar, and the mission he took on had him hunting down a generator, which would let them turn on more lights at the Ark instead of burning trash. I asked if most of the characters would be animals or humans, and Scarin said that the world of mutant humans are more common, but the playable cast will largely be mutant animals because they're more fun. Fair enough. I mean, come on, you have a mutant duck. That's awesome. So yeah, I get what he's saying. This isn't, even though we're kind of playing in the wasteland and whatnot, this isn't going to be a survival game. This is going to be more of a true RPG where, how to put it, the things you do will affect and I'm trying to extrapolate what was in that paragraph and kind of pull it out, if this makes sense. So from how I understand this, like when it's like scavenging, for resources, I'm going to guess that's like weapons, ammunition, or like in that mission that you're hunting down a generator, or you're doing this, that, like certain choices that you make or certain missions that you take on will have an effect on the arc, but not in the sense that it's like, you're building a settlement, like you choose where buildings go and whatnot. I don't think that's what they're saying. I think what they're saying is it's entirely like that, you bring in a generator. Oh, we have more lights instead of burning trash. We bring in this, and something else happens, like maybe food or whatever for the settlement. I think it's going to be more focused on that. I think this is going to be a more out-and-out RPG that uses the XCOM combat style, which I think could work, all in all. Let's see here. I got a good long look at how a typical combat situation will play out in a small encounter. Scarin came across an isolated howler ghoul who has a phonograph horn strapped to her shoulder and can call in reinforcements if she gets the chance. Here's where stealth comes in. As you're exploring in real time, enemies have a white tension radius around them that serves as a generalized vision range. Step into it and you'll get spotted, initiating combat right where you are and giving them the advantage. Make too much noise or you get caught in something like a spotlight, same thing. But if you can sneak your way around, you can get into cover, flank an enemy, and initiate combat yourself, getting in the first move. And I quote, "What we want to do, embracing the pen and paper RPG, is scout it up, come up with a great plan, and then fail on your second die roll and improvise from there." End quote, Scarin said with a laugh. In the demo build, character I like to think of as Howard the Duck, real name Ducks. Oh my god, I love it already. Was equipped with a crossbow, which Scarin used to kill the howler ghoul quietly before she could blow her horn and call for backup. The die rolls came out in his favor this time. Okay, see, this is something else I like, is you can attack. Is saying that he had a crossbow. Okay, so that means we can attack and not initiate combat yet, or we can, maybe there'll be silenced like pistols or something like that. That is always my big my big curiosity with games like this, is why they don't allow for more stealth combat. I always thought that about XCOM, but I really like this idea. And I feel like I was going somewhere with that comment. See, I also like the mutation on ducks, with the wings. But we'll look into more of that. Wings are a great mutation for a sniper, but you can easily change mutations between battles to switch up your playstyle. Okay, I'm really interested to see how the mutations are going to play ahead in this. I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't. I'll read this paragraph and then I'll break off and do some more commentary. In combat, everything feels very XCOM, down to the two-chunk movement system. Overwatch is a skill and equipable secondary weapons like grenades, but mutations, the game's perk system, offer a fun alternative to a rigid skill tree as each character levels up. You'll spend points to unlock 3 or 4 mutations in 3 categories, major, minor, and passive. Before any given battle, you can equip 1 mutation in each category, tailoring your loadout to the fight ahead. Oh! So it's not interesting. So it's not a you have to pick and you're locked into that choice. You can actually alter it outside of Ew. That's a neat idea. So I can have, like with Dux, I'm assuming I can have him with wings in one mission, or like in one combat scenario, and in another combat scenario where maybe wings wouldn't be a great choice, I can have him with some other mutation. It's really interesting. I really think there's gonna. I'm gonna hold off on saying this like definitively until we get this game like in our hands and everything. But I think there's going to be a fairly good amount of depth in this game when it fully launches. It's supposed to launch sometime this year. I don't have a come on, brain. I don't. What is it? I don't think it has a solid release date yet, or at least none that I have seen. So it's looking like where this game is right now set to come out sometime later this year. So I really hope it does. I'm already sold. Like this is already enough for me to like pre-order this game. I'm pumped. See here. And I quote, "We want it to be very match specific, who you bring into the fight, of the characters we have, and how you configure them," said Scarron. Dux can choose a mutation that makes him sprout gross but youthful moth wings. Oh, okay. Yeah, that is gross. Well, I don't know, whatever. For example, which give him a high ground advantage, ideal for long distance sniping. And I quote, "There's no real point to having the wings in the underground bunker, for instance," end quote, Scarron said. "Right now, there's a pool of about 30 different mutations split up amongst the recruitable characters. There will be some overlap, but the characters will all have unique mutations too. The biggest distinction from XCOM in combat is having a party limited to only 3 units. The same number as in Ubisoft's Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, actually, which the developer said felt just like the right number. They started with 5 and worked their way down until there was never a time when 1 or 2 party members sat around idle." I can understand that idea. Again, this is I think they're kind of finding that like ideal tabletop RPG group to play in. I don't know about anyone else. I think when you get, because I played tabletop. I've played tabletop a little bit. I think when you get too many people in a tabletop match, or not match, when you get too many people into a like a session, things start to get really bogged down, and there's a lot of talking, and there's a lot of talking amongst yourselves, and it always seems like somebody's not doing anything. So I think 3 or 4 is right, and I think to kind of stay true to the tabletop RPG aspect of this game, a 3-member party system, I think that's a right choice. I'm really interested to see who are these other characters. I mean, we see Dux, obviously. I mean, they're talking about Dux, and there's this pig man right there, some sort of pig man. I want to see what, like, so would his, I'm gonna guess maybe his mutations would give him longer tusks, and he can charge somebody, or he'll get stronger, or something like that. And I want to see all the things I can do in combat with these mutations, and I want to see how I can use each mutation differently in combat. You know, I think, like I said, I think there's going to be an interesting amount of depth within this game. Let's hear. In a big encounter that made up the back half of our demo, Scarron took on a group of ghouls who were trying to get a large combat robot back up and running. With a little help from the robot, which you can reprogram if you find a clue while exploring, I hope there are frequent narrative touches like this in combat that don't feel too samey or too obvious, but it at least seems like the sort of things the designers of Hitman would excel at. Jesus. I'm serious. I really like PC Gamer. I just cannot stand their font. Let's see here. I also got a good look at how varied these sorts of combat encounters can play out and how important positioning can be when you're outnumbered. Again, when it comes to the positioning and everything, it reminds me so much of Wasteland 2. That's all I'm seeing right now. With like mutant ducks. God, I love that thing. Scarn sent Borman the pigman. God, the pigman out into the open to draw his fire with his stone skin mutation. There we go. He can soak up the damage. Dux took on the high ground, but nearly died when a rampaging heavy ghoul, think an XCOM Mutant, came after him. Borman also started taking damage over time thanks to a flamethrower wielding pyro. As a well-placed smoke grenade on the leader of the ghouls kept her out of action long enough for Scarn to mop up the rest. Mutant Year Zero isn't the only game coming out this year that makes Julian Gallup's assertion that XCOM is now a genre. I think that's fair. Feel persistent or prescient? I think prescient. I don't know. But it's exciting to see it marry what looks like a damn fine tactical game with a full RPG. I agree. I think it's really interesting taking the combat style of XCOM and fusing it with an RPG. And now I think what they're talking about with saying that XCOM is now a genre, if anybody's seen any gameplay of Under the Breach, it's that kind of tile-based. Granted, Under the Breach is kind of an older style game. It's also by the developers of FTL. So, I mean, it's not necessarily an XCOM, successor, but again, it's a similar kind of like XCOM gameplay style. I think XCOM is just so known for this kind of gameplay, but there's so many games that use it. So I think calling XCOM a genre, I think, is kind of fair. There's one other game I wanted to mention that just was popping into my head. It's coming out later this month. It comes out a little bit after God of War. Battle. I think it's BattleTech. Really interesting game. Go check it out. I think I checked it on Steam. It's like $40. Really interesting, sort of XCOM-y kind of gameplay with mech robots. Really interesting, really deep game. Go check it out if you're interested. I'll probably play it on the channel sometime. But back into the article. It's packed with character and loot that has character. It's packed with character and loot that has like a top hat that confers a high ground bonus. I want to see more of the recruitable characters and how much story they'll really bring with them. I dig the idea of the zone being a world you can explore fairly freely. In my demo, the party was level 40, about the same level as the enemies they came up against. But it's possible to skip encounters that are too tough and come back to them later, or stealthily position yourself to take out an isolated enemy instead of fighting a whole group at once. And I quote, "This level is kind of a big fight. You end up here after a smaller little story on the map." Where you find this guy on the map who tells you about the stolen generator, but then you have other maps with lots of small fights which are more exploration based, and you walk around and run into something in the woods or in the city, or Scarn said. So we can change the pacing of a turn-based game by doing different size fights and things, which is really nice, end quote. I hope a properly outfitted team will let you take on enemies that outrank you, though Anderson said you'd likely get destroyed if you went up against level 40 enemies with a level 30 crew. I'm betting experienced XCOM players will find creative ways to prove that false, and those players will have some challenging options. By default, there's no permadeath in battle, since these characters have story attached to them, but permadeath will be an option. There are also difficulty settings that will affect how much you heal between battles and what kind of penalties you'll suffer after being downed. Okay, see, so there's something else I like. Without that, you can make permadeath an option. You can set the different difficulty settings for the penalties and all that. I think that's interesting. I also think that making the game more accessible to people who maybe don't want, who maybe just want to enjoy the story, but I'm trying to make a solid point here. I like that concept. I really like that concept. I think, again, it opens up the accessibility to a wider range of players. There we go. I'm sorry. I'm awake, I'm just not very coherent right now. Mutant Year Zero might be the first strategy game I've seen built in Unreal 4, and even the Dark Forest map I saw demoed looked gorgeous. The environment is packed with swaying ferns, shadows of soft light blanket every area. God damn it! And there's a ton of detail to see when you zoom in on a character to take a shot. Yep, I expect it to be a game much like Divinity Original Sin 2. That's what I was thinking, where it's more effective to take in the whole battlefield at once, but I'll keep zooming in to admire the art. Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden is out this year, which hopefully means we'll get to see more of its story and exploration in the near future. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, but for some reason, Divinity Original Sin 2 was not coming to my head. Like, I'm like, God, there's another game I really wanted to mention that does this very well, and it is Divinity. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm expecting of this. I'm expecting this to be more of like a Wasteland, or This Is Not a Test, or, come on, brain. Or a Fallout kind of version of Divinity Original Sin 2, or Divinity Original Sin, I guess. Whatever. All right, guys, I'm gonna make a cut here. I'm gonna hop over to the video, but I'm also gonna stand up, stretch my legs, grab something to drink real quick. All right, guys, let's hop into this.
Hello, this is Chris Brett from Eurogamer, and here's our first look at Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden, a turn-based tactical game heavily inspired by new XCOM, but also it has a talking duck. As you'll see in this video, in which a couple of developers from Funcom walk me through a preview demo of their game, it's a bit more than that actually. The combat may feel very similar to games like Enemy Unknown, but what you do get here, before the combat, feels quite different. It's got real-time stealth sections, for example. Yeah, let me know what you think, and here we go.
So what is your objective at the moment?
We need to go into the camp and retrieve a generator that in a previous level we've been told by a survivor of a massacre that their electricity generator has been stolen, and the Elder has actually asked us, well, has basically ordered us to go out and retrieve this for the Ark. It will give us power for the Ark.
Right, and one of the things I really like to... So I've seen...
All right, a small little comment here that I'm really surprised how good this looks. I like I said, I've been seeing pictures. I kind of like the cartoon sort of things up here, the character depictions. But I mean, just like walking around, I'm gonna kind of like back up a little bit here, just to go. Yeah, like this shot, like just watching the character like walk around and move, and I see right down there, the split up button. So I'm assuming the characters can all. So you can solo out a certain person for more tactical movement, but I mean it looks. I'm not saying like it's like photorealistic good, but I mean it looks pretty, and when you see the character walking around, it's a lot smoother than I thought it would be. I mean, it's usually with these kind of games they're a little more choppy, but again, I don't want to say they're choppy. It doesn't look. It just doesn't look this smooth, but. Well, I guess it's also because they're not usually free movement. Usually it is still grid-based. Like even when you play something like Divinity, it doesn't, like I said, the movement doesn't look this smooth. I really like this in the Unreal Engine.
Well, it's basically ordered us to go out and retrieve this for the Ark. It will give us power for the Ark.
Right, and one of the things I really like so I've seen parts of this demo before, and you could potentially walk straight into the camp there and engage the whole thing, but rather than do that, another option that you have here is actually to scout around the side and sort of pick off a few enemies beforehand and get a better idea of what's going on before you jump into the big fight itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at this space here, it's actually a really bad space to start a tactical encounter. You've got no cover positions. You're directly in front of a huge enemy unit. And all your characters are together in one place, which makes you an easy target for characters to throw, say, Molotov cocktails at you or do kind of wide range attacks. So this is a really, really, really bad place to start any kind of combat.
So we're going to go around, take a side route, and it's also well lit. You notice there was a big spotlight. Spotlights, electricity. That's a sign of pretty, not wealthy individuals, but more powerful individuals.
I like that. I haven't seen.
All right. Again, I'm gonna just kind of pop back just a little bit. I want to try and.
spotlight.
All right, I'll try it.
Spotlight's electricity.
I know I'm
Pretty,
just wait.
You know.
All right, you saw how it went out red, so I'm gonna guess that is your detection radius when you're just up walking. So when you decide to go stealth, that's when it becomes the stealth zone of detection. And at least that's my guess.
Not wealthy individuals, but more powerful individuals.
I like that. I haven't seen many turn-based tactical games sort of have this approach before a fight begins. Really, sort of getting to grips with the battlefield and setting up an ambush, well in advance of actually the main encounter.
Yeah, we really wanted it to be a big part of this game because a lot of the team have worked on the Hitman games previously.
Mm-hmm.
Where a huge part of that game is to scope out your target and to find the weak spots and to exploit it as much as possible.
Unless you're me, and then you get bored and just run at things and you just start shooting.
We wanted to go for a similar approach. Even for, with tactical games, it made a lot more sense for us to be doing the setup in real time rather than doing it while in turn-based. Which can be really slow, so we thought we'd speed it up and try doing it in real time.
Right, so here you've got a ghoul that's been separated from the rest of the group, right?
Yes. And this ghoul here, the Howler Ghoul, well, she can be a real pain, because if she gets a turn, the first thing she'll do is blow the big horn on her back and call in for reinforcements. So you'll end up with a lot more ghouls to deal with.
Oh, I didn't do a very good shot there either. I wanted to do a critical. So I want to get rid of it quick. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to edge my bets with these silence weapons. I want to try and avoid bringing another guy into the battle. Mm-hmm. Dux has got a mutation, a Mothwing's mutation. So I'm going to use that to give me a high critical chance and an advantage.
Nice,
over the Howler.
A very high critical chance.
Yes.
Yeah,
we're still tweaking the numbers. But,
still not enough, so I have to make some noise with Borman. He's only got loud weapons, unfortunately. Let's just use the Gaper, which is like a blunderbuss.
What I really like about this is that when I watched the demo the first time, you managed to kill this unit before with just silenced weapons. So at least I know that this bit isn't scripted.
Oh, it's not scripted at all. Thing is, we have a playthrough we follow because we've been showing people this, and this, we don't want to have a boring playthrough where we stand just chipping away in Overwatch for half an hour.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the characters will still come and find you anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the game is percentages based, and sometimes that 80% shot will miss.
It's an Overwatch. He'll get. No, he missed.
Oh, nice. See, the percentages work both ways, I guess.
Oh, we do. I'm going to go into Overwatch now. Now we talked about putting Overwatch.
Yeah.
we'll just do that now for an hour.
Right. So I've got a good chance from there. Let's go through the window and over here with Ducks. And I might not get this turn. I'm going to reload now, but
I would start bringing someone all the way down to the left to start flanking, because the pistol ghoul is sat in a cover.
I will say, this is flat out. This is XCOM. This is XCOM. You see, the grid, the two flags for the the two flags for your actions. All that stuff. Sorry, I'm getting weird text messages from my bosses. This is just flat out. This is XCOM. This style.
This game means a lot. You get a really big bonus being in cover. So flanking and being able to get above enemies and around them is more important than traditional tactical game.
Nice.
So as far as
go ahead. Sorry.
Go on. The Overwatch worked out pretty well there, I think.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, this is the action system is similar to new XCOM in the fact that you have a move and an action per turn. Is that right, or do you have just 2 action points to spend?
You have 2 action points to spend, and you can move or shoot using an action point. But we also have some mutations that might cheat the system a little bit and allow you to do a little bit more within one.
But traditionally, you can only shoot once per turn without.
Yeah, that's true. That's right.
Like that. Okay, cool.
So I just went and took him out there with a fire pistol.
Nice. Yeah, that went down a lot differently last time I saw the demo.
It's very, very different each playthrough. Actually, sometimes we succeed, sometimes we fail the playthrough. It's going to take his chest, because all these guys always carry always have a chest nearby, like in most adventure games. There's chests with stuff.
Cool.
I mean, the game is very much. It's like the old school pen and paper games where you would spend a long time laying out this perfect plan of how you're going to do something, and then some dice roll would screw you over. So here you would maybe miss the 80% shot, and then the whole plan starts to fall to pieces, and then you got to improvise and get a bit more gritty in the combat.
Okay, so shall we go back to the art quickly?
See, with me, it was always the first dice roll. But I mean, looking at how it moved from combat to or from adventure to combat back to just adventure, I mean, it just looks so smooth. I really like the look. I'm really liking the character design and everything. I feel bad that I'm not able to like add any extra commentary other than I'm liking this, I'm liking that. I haven't seen anything that's gonna make me go, oh, maybe they're doing this or maybe they're doing that. Or whatever, but this game has sold me already. I mean, this is so sweet.
Yeah, so that's the sort of the hub world for the entirety of this game, right? You can keep going back at any point.
Yeah, it's where all the mutants live, and it's where you're traveling out from each time. And the Ark is a bit of a mysterious place, because you get to learn as you're playing the game the truth behind a lot of things, which we're not going to spoil. But it is a meta plot based around that whole thing.
Delta's workshop is where you can take your weapons and upgrade them and modify them.
Yeah, and we try to be a bit more interesting with modifying your weapons, so it's not just gaining extra percentage chance and stuff. I mean, we have that stuff, of course, but
okay, so back to something that I was talking about in the article, from the way they said things. That I didn't say this probably wouldn't be like a base building sort of thing, but maybe because I'm seeing some like this building kind of like lit up a little bit, if you noticed it. But again, this is just entirely speculation. I have no inside track or anything. As you complete like missions or whatever, because this bar, I'm gonna guess we're some sort of like mercenary or something like that. So like we can get like contracts in this bar and go out and do stuff and blah 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 blah, and we can come back to the Ark or whatever. These buildings will actually open up and more will light up within the Ark, and that'll give us more stuff to do within the Ark. So maybe it isn't necessarily like a base building sort of thing, but we get more things to do within the Ark, as in we get more. I'm trying to think like maybe an inn where you can heal yourself, or that's really the only thing that's kind of coming to mind right now. But have different facilities that do different things. Maybe I don't know. Entire speculation.
You also want to add thing, like fire bullets are a good one. So when you fire a fire bullet, you will do damage over time because you'll set the enemy on fire, or you can add a knockback effect onto the gun, so that when you shoot someone, they'll be knocked back. So you can knock them off high ground and into water and things like that. So
yeah,
sure.
Playing around with more fun additions to the weapons is quite important for us.
Then we got the bar. Of course, all good adventure games need a bar or a tavern. You can get information and quests, etc.
Yeah, and we use the bar in this game. It's owned by a guy called Prips, the barman, and
hence Prips Bar.
He's a bit of a shady character. He kind of deals in artifacts on the black market. And artifacts are these working items from the old age that you can find in the zone.
Right.
You bring them back to Prips, and then he'll exchange them for basically what we call group bonuses. So we have like a group bonus tree in here, which you can upgrade using artifacts to give you anything from more powerful med packs to extra equipment slots, or these kind of things. Things that are going to really help you in the zone.
Then we got the Elder's Room.
Yeah, he's a mysterious character. The first mysterious thing being that everybody who lives in the Ark is a mutant or mutated in some way, except for him. He's 100% human. He's also quite old, and he seems to know a little bit more about the zone than what he should do.
Right.
So there's a little bit of figuring out how he's connected to the whole plot of the game as we progress.
So we came here just to mainly visit the market, Iridia's market.
Okay, again, I'm gonna chime in here and kind of ask an odd question, and that is I want to see character customization, not your party. I like the main character. Is the main character the stock person that they're playing in this, or do we get to create our character? You know, because of the mutations and everything. Like, do we create like a class for our character? So like we'd open up certain groups of mutations. Like with ducks can use the moth wings, but we can switch the moth wings out for something else. But I'm assuming he can't use all the mutations that Borman can use. That sort of, you know, I'm assuming that they have certain mutations that are unique to each of them. So I'm like, so with our main character, can we create this character? Well, I also want to know, can I also be some sort of animal? Because if so, I want to be part pig and be Pigly from Archer, but that's my own issue. Sorry, but I want to know, like, what goes into character creation. Is it like a full-on RPG, like character creation? Do we set our stats, that sort of thing? I just want to play it.
Market. Iridia used to be the top stalker of the Ark, and stalkers are basically the adventurers that go out and gather resources for the Ark. She's really old and sick now, so she runs the shop. A little bit placeholder in at the moment, but what we'll do is we'll buy this little item to edge our bets. Because
that doesn't look like C4. It looks like a grenade.
I'm going to make that big grenade an actual game item you can buy.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's so cool. That,
and then we got a Aristo helm, which is a hat, and of course hats are very important to game design these days.
Smart.
Am I right in thinking that one gives you the high ground advantage?
Yeah, because makes you.
I love that.
So.
I think that's great that a top hat gives you that.
Yeah, it's because you're kind of more highbrow as well.
Of course, yeah.
And it's like we have a lot of these different hats and outfits that you can find in the game that give you these passive bonuses, and we do have.
I really hope this game does not take itself too seriously. Which, I mean, from what they were saying right there, I mean, it's a top hat that gives you high ground advantage. I don't think it will, but I mean, if they can nail that kind of just dumb humor like that in the right way, that'd be perfect. I'm liking the imagery of this map, how it's all hand drawn, like the old grub place. It's like an old dude with the chef hat, mustache, and everything.
A bit of fun with some of them.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. We want to make a really polished game, but we also want to throw a bit of ourselves in there and a bit of fun in there. So it's not super serious. There's a lot of little quirks.
It's kind of serious. I would describe it more of dark humor that you get.
Yeah, you can see that in the original trailer with ducks taking a look at like some canned ham.
It's not wacky. It's not wacky. But we throw a little bit here and there. Little text references and things like that. You'll discover more when you play the game.
I mean, a lot of it comes from the characters themselves and how they interact with each other when they find things and discuss things they see in the zone. And the duck is maybe a little bit more sarcastic and pessimistic, where the boar's a bit more hard and I don't know how to describe it, more soldier-like.
Yeah, it's quite serious. I mean, they all are serious characters, but they have a bit of banter between them. Borman and Ducks have known each other for quite a long time, so they work very well together. You meet Selma quite a little bit later in the game, actually. She's
on the road.
Yeah, she's not at the very start of the game in your band. Right. 2 seconds. I think I need to equip some stuff soon as well.
Yeah. I'm not seeing any top hats.
Let's do that. So let's go to the inventory. This is the skill tree it's gone to, yes.
Okay. So when he said you don't mean Selma until much later in the game, then does that mean we don't have a main character? Like, do we not have a player that we play? Like, I thought that's who this was. I thought that's who Selma was. That she was a main character. So I just want to know. Then I want to know, how does this start? Do we start as Ducks and Borman, or how's all this work?
Okay, inventory. So let's have a little look.
I mean, technically, you can put the top out on anybody. It doesn't have to be the duck, but let's put it on the duck.
It looks great on the
He's got a toothpick.
We're going to give him the sniper. He already has a genetic in his mutations, one of his passive, his passive mutation is a high ground advantage. So he's genetically ready for a sniping action.
Right.
That's because we have that selected.
And just to talk a bit about the mutations as well, we took a little bit of a different approach to how these kind of games would traditionally do it. I mean, a lot of these games would lock you into a particular character class and then a skill tree to go with that class, and then all you're doing really is improving your abilities within that particular class. We tried that at first, and we thought it was a little stale and a little bit being done a lot in other games. So we thought, okay, let's just do what we want to do. Let's just try something different.
Yeah.
So we allow you to pick up mutations as you progress through the game, and then we split them into 3 types. We might add a 4th. We're still experimenting with this, where we have the major, the minor, and the passive.
Right.
And then at any point, we allow you to select which 3 mutations you want to take into tactical with you. So 1 major, 1 minor, and 1 passive. And different combinations of these 3 mutations are useful and less useful against certain types of enemies.
So you can switch those out at any point between encounters?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
You just switch them around.
Before you go into combat, when you're in combat, you're locked into what you've got selected.
We call it the golf bag approach. Because if you're walking around with a golf bag full of clubs, and then you go, ooh, okay, for this hole, I need this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I'm just going to show you. You've seen this before, I'm sure, but we show you the split up, where you can actually split up the characters in real-time mode and just position them where you want. This is really good for ambushing enemies and sort of looking around the level, scoping out stuff.
Before you take on a big encounter, it's a really good idea to split your team up and find the most brilliant tactical positions you can find really for that particular character. So
Sure. So for Dux, now that you've got the top hat equipped, you wouldn't necessarily need to have high ground. He's just going to have it at all points. Is that right?
I mean, you could leave him down because he has some high ground. He has some skill. He has some passive mutations. Basically, we'll give him a bonus only if he's on high ground.
Right. Okay. Got you.
And of course, if you use his Moth Wings mutation, then he's on high ground for 1 turn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a good combo between mutations there.
Yeah.
That you can set up.
And you can see I've hidden him here now, preparing for this. When I take the straggler off, this pistol ghoul, I've hidden him. And if you can see, when I put the torch on, that the attention circle of that pistol ghoul is over Dux, but he doesn't spot him because he's actually in a hidden mode now. If the ghoul was to wander close by, he could spot him if he's up right next to him. At the moment, he can't. I'm just going to move Selma around to
we'll
take this guy out as well.
Yeah, I mean, the easiest thing to do is to take this guy down quickly.
I'm going to leave Bormin just here because he's got loud weapons on, and I'm going to just leave him there. He can read a book or something, whatever he wants to do. Let's activate Dux, and got a good chance of getting this guy right down.
And the crit.
And then Selma, I'll bring her along. She should be far away enough from the other guys so they don't hear. She's got a silenced weapon actually, so it's pretty good as long as I can kill him. He drops his lunch.
Okay, so I like how you don't have to take him out in one encounter or in one shot. You can I want to go back. I want to go back just kind of a quick second. I want to rewatch how that worked.
This guy down quickly.
I'm gonna leave Bormin just here because he's got loud weapons on, and you're gonna just leave him there. He can read a book or something, whatever he wants to do. Let's activate Dux, and got a good chance of getting this guy right down.
And the crit.
And then Selma, I'll bring her along. She should be far away enough from the other guys so they don't hear. She's got a silenced weapon actually, so it's pretty good as long as I can kill him. He drops his lunch.
Okay. So somehow he got activated, but because they were able to take him down quick enough on his turn, it didn't alert the other people. Okay, so stealth is. I was wondering if it would be kind of jarring if stealth would kind of like constantly move back and forth from the grid system to the adventure system, and how I really kind of questioning how that would work in real time in combat. And now I have an idea. Okay, I think that's pretty smooth for. Yeah. I almost said for what it is. No, I mean that's smooth. Period.
So the sniper rifle that you've got for ducks isn't silenced, but does a bit more damage than the crossbow.
Yeah, it's got a lot more range, but it's not silent. So
Right.
if you were to use that now, then most of the camp would hear it, and then you would start the big tactical battle straight away. Whereas what we want to do is thin out the amount of guards that we've got to fight, taking them down silently with our stealth characters, and then find some good tactical positions to put ourselves in before we engage combat. So we have the big advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting seeing a bit of that Hitman mentality come into a turn-based game like this.
Serves you right.
Yeah, it's interesting for us as well how we can take the the experience that we learned working on the Hitman games and bring it into a completely different genre.
So I'm just going to bring ducks round. We're going to prepare for the battle proper. All right.
Cool. So yeah, Dux is going to be your long range, and then Bormin looks like he's.
Okay, yeah. So, like I said, I mean, it's really smooth, kind of going in and out of that kind of stealth combat thing. My other big question that I have with this is when it comes to bullets and guns, is it going to be like Wasteland where because they said it wasn't resource management, so does that mean I can reload and all that whenever I want to with no penalty, or do I have to keep an eye out on ammo reserves, or what's going on with that? So that's a little something I'd like to know.
Big tank.
Yeah, I mean, he's.
Oh, or is it because that was like at 1,000 not too long ago? So is it every time you reload, does that go down? Is that what that is?
Configured that way at the moment. He has a really good mutation called Stone Skin, which will make him invincible for a turn.
But first, I'm going to put Selma here because I want to prep these guys up for battle. So I'm going to put Selma here because she's going to be in a good support role at this point.
What is her role in the squad then? If at the moment Bormin's a tank and Dux is sort of long range.
She's got a heavy weapon on her back. She's got a like a plasma weapon, so she's got a really good firepower. So we're going to set something up in a second.
Yeah, she's more of a general purpose character. I mean, we don't really lock his characters into classes as such.
Sure.
We just have a few mutations and that might skew it towards a certain type of how you'd like to play with a character.
Got you.
But we don't force anything on the player. It's kind of up to them how they want to. You can have a sniper ball if you wanted. I mean.
Cool. Is this the full squad, by the way? Throughout all of Mutant Year Zero, are you playing with the three of these characters? You said you find Selma a little later on.
You find a few more characters out in the zone as well.
Okay.
And then you can switch your squad around. So you could have these. You could have the duck and the boar, and another character, or.
Right.
But yeah, think of it as more like of an adventure game rather than an XCOM unlimited amount of cannon fodder soldiers that you send out.
Sure.
So I just brought Bormin around because this big robot that the guys were talking about earlier has been programmed to kill mutants, and probably going to.
And again, I'll ask the question that honestly I would be coming out and asking here, and that is, can you, or is there a character creation, or is this all stock characters within the game? If anybody out there knows this and can answer this question, please go in the comments below, tweet at me, whatever. Happy, I want to know these things.
Going to get sent to the Ark at some point. So what we're going to do, we're going to reset it so it fights kind of independently.
Yeah,
so
it fights anybody. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard.
So had you, at the very start of this demo, run straight into the camp, right into that spotlight, and engaged the big fight, you would have been fighting the whole group, and things like that robot would have been triggered immediately, and you would only be targeting you.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
I mean, we can do it, but it'll. I did it.
To show you. It won't last very long. Last time we had the robot bouncing on the bridge and then just took it out straight.
Yeah.
Nice.
We really encourage you to have to really scope out your encounters before you engage them.
So yeah, we've given, because we know the layout of the level and we have scoped it out, so to speak. Got Selma at the support role, Dux, as you know, here. and Bormin here. And the reason why we put him here is because he's actually quite close to that big guy on the bridge, and another guy up the top there. We wanted him to kind of draw a lot of fire from these local ghouls, and then the robot we've reprogrammed, so he should hopefully draw the fire of Grey One, who's the boss of the camp, which is just behind that generator at the top of the screen.
Right.
The ghouls near her as well, right? He's got no chance of hitting these guys with his ranged shot. We've got a rifle ghoul, tends to enjoy sticking away at a distance using his ranged weapon. Heavy ghoul, pain in the neck. He wants to charge through walls to get to you. Very, very troublesome.
Yeah, and he knocks you down for a couple of turns as well, which is very troublesome because you can't.
I'm gonna guess armor. Armor. I mean, flat out. I mean, the combat is flat out XCOM. I'll say that.
Really defend yourself.
If it's not
The other
obvious.
guys can take pot shots at you when you're on the ground. Pyro ghoul, he's just a bit of an idiot, and we don't want to deal with him. So I'm going to
You
chuck.
should keep throwing Molotovs at you, which does like damage over time,
Right.
which is not good for us. So
Nah.
we need to get these two are probably our biggest problem right here.
So I'm going to do something I really enjoy. I like taking away their stuff because I think they've got little enough as it is, so I can only make life worse. So I'm chucking a grenade at this guy. I'm going to do some damage to him. Going to draw their attention to Bormin, and I'm going to remove his cover, hopefully.
And you forgot stone skin on.
Oh, I forgot to. I'll do it next time now.
It's
Right.
okay.
Right.
Just gonna take a big volley of attacks and then.
Yeah, he's still quite tough. So Duck's got a good chance of 100% crit, 100% shot for Rifle Ghoul. Grey One a little bit less. Pyro Ghoul, forget about it.
Well, 50-50 is still not exactly. Forget about it. You have a 50-50
50% chance of losing as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just kind of hop back here. Okay, so we have chance to hit. So it's based on the range, critical chances, base,
Forget about it.
hiding. All right. So let's see. So we have high ground. So he gets 25% for high ground. Gets 10% for the hat. That's cute. Okay, so it breaks down how how all the stuff works. All right.
Still not exactly. Forget about it. You have a
50% chance of losing as well.
Yeah.
I'd rather just
All
get
right.
this guy. I think Grey One's going to be dealing with the big robot when he's activated, and that's going to be a lot of fun because we can watch them chip each other away, and then we go and mop up the survivors. Now this shot,
And okay, I guess I was wrong. It's you. Something about the enemy heard you. I don't know how they didn't hear them after the grenade, but apparently they heard them after Duck's shot. So maybe it's you get 2 shots, or I'm not entirely sure the rule on that, but something to keep an eye out on.
I can probably get this, but let's give it a try.
We've missed the last few times. Oh, I actually got it this time.
Yeah, I missed the last few times, and it just it becomes
Okay.
a pain.
I
So here we
was
go.
speak- Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So the camp is waking up now, so everyone's kind of everybody knows we're here. Predictably, he's gone nuts. This guy.
But we're because we planned properly. We're in good tactical positions to start.
And hopefully this is gonna cause them some issues.
Yeah, this guy's going to be a bit of a headache for those guys.
I think now they've noticed that.
Yeah, Grey One's noticed this. So she made a big error in leaving it unguarded. That
I like that it just walks through all the cover as well.
The thing with this tactical game, you've really got to think on your feet a lot more than you would do in a traditional tactical game.
So I'm just going to position Selma over here. We've
Yeah.
got this
Well,
rifle
just-
ghoul here.
I'll take his cover off him.
Yeah, let's get rid of his cover. Again, taking away what little they have.
Exactly.
Super capitalists. So good, that's going to draw him out into the open. Right, Ducks. Great shot on heavy ghoul. Rifle ghoul.
Okay, everything that I've been able to hear about for this game, it is not completed yet graphically. Yeah, if it's not graphically ready yet, I mean, holy crap! Like, what's this thing gonna look like when it's done? I mean, I already think this thing looks great, but it's just think about that.
It's not going to take him out. I think I'm just going to go for the heavy ghoul and take some of the heat off for me. Probably draw the heavy ghoul to me, but the good thing about the heavy ghoul is he can't climb ladders.
Right.
So if Ducks can... Oh, the pyro ghoul wants a bit of roast pork for dinner.
Oh, I think did that flame effect hit the heavy ghoul then as well?
Yeah, the heavy ghoul will be affected by that. The pyro is a little bit of a psycho. And Grey One took cover on there, believing she'd be safe, but she still took a hefty amount.
Did anyone hear the heavy ghoul yell, "Duck hunt"? I really hope I heard that right.
Damage. So let's just reload with the state switcher, and then we got the heavy ghoul close. So I'm going to use the moth wings again, and just get myself a height advantage and take more damage off this heavy ghoul. It's not enough.
Hit your critical damage now.
It's not enough to kill him. Anybody else? It's a good shot.
Yeah.
I'm going to take him because he's a real nightmare. Early on, he will remove our cover. That's one thing, and he'll just get through anything to get to us. Where's that guy? He's trying to flank Selma now.
He is flanking you. Okay, so I would you're in a bit of trouble here, man.
I am a bit of trouble. Is he?
What is Selma's mutation?
Yes, use her vines.
I'd rather use that on the heavy ghoul, to be honest.
Stop.
Oh, so that stops movement.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
she can take control of the tree roots and
It's got the vines, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Let's do
What is she, a
that.
geomancer?
He's probably gonna hit me.
Yeah, pretty much.
He'll.
I'll put her into cover. Now.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna
you,
put him to cover. Where I've only got low cover here. That's all I can do.
Can you get inside the hut?
Yeah, get
There we
inside
go.
the
Yeah,
hut.
there we go.
That's a good spot.
Oh.
Let's get out of his.
Yeah, we'll mop him up in a little while. Now, Borman's in the middle of the fire. I want to get out of that. I'm going to try and get rid of the pyro ghoul with Borman. Now, I've got only a 25% shot from there. That's not really any good. So I'm going to use an ability called the run and gun, which will actually let me take both of my action points
Ah, cool.
and then a shot after that. 75% chance is a lot better.
Okay, flat out, that's an XCOM thing. I mean, that's an XCOM skill, is run and gun, which lets you do the exact same thing.
Oh, that was great.
I had another comment and I forgot what it was.
So
Sometimes this misses too, so maybe.
knock back on it.
Oh, nice.
Never
Full
carry
damage.
Molotov.
Oh, God, that went well.
Yeah, you never carry Molotovs in your pocket. That's, has your mum ever told you that? Or was it fireworks? I don't know.
Both at the same time.
He didn't read his safety instructions there. So, of course, for press reasons, we have the robot destroying everything.
Yep.
And also, that's how it is in the game, to be honest.
Yeah.
Let's have a little look. So, we've got Grey One there. She's very formidable, but she's not in Overwatch at the moment. Shall I whack Bormin here, put him in Stone Skin and Overwatch? Just put him in Stone Skin first, just in case she isn't in Overwatch.
The interesting thing with the robots when you come across them as well is that they're not really allied to anyone in particular. They're just left over from the old days.
Mm-hmm.
Still hanging around, causing trouble.
Shall I take the shot?
50-50? Yeah, come on. Let's do
Do
it.
it.
50-50. Oh, you're a lucky
Beautiful.
one.
Nice.
And knock
You
back
lucky
again.
son.
If she wasn't a high
Alright.
spot, she'd of course be dead at this point. And he can easily get rid of this guy, and he's a
Yeah.
headache. That'll teach him to hang around.
So you see, that's what I mean. We should always bind the heavy goal.
Yeah.
They don't run around and cause trouble.
Oh, what can I do with this? Oh.
75?
Yeah, it's gonna give a headache.
Time to kick some ass.
Like a robot.
Cool.
I think maybe he will get caught by the robot. We'll
Yeah, I
see.
think it's probably quite useful to have at least something left alive next to the robot for now. Well, the grey one's still there as well.
Yeah.
I like how the weapons.
She can do a lot of damage.
So I'm talking over them. I like how the weapons aren't just like ballistic, like left over from our time. It's, you have these weird energy weapons, and you have they all look like they're handmade. They're kind of like jerry rigged. I really like that. I think it's cool.
She's just on Overwatch as
Very
well.
cautious today.
Okay.
Thanks for that robot.
How do you miss?
How'd you miss from there?
She didn't have a 100% chance, so there's a percentage
Oh.
there. So their housing has been ruined.
I don't know where they're sleeping tonight.
Their starter
Just
home has been destroyed. Never mind. Wow,
Oh,
we've still got this
shoot
rifle
you.
ghoul as well, haven't we? Here.
Yeah, but he's not on Overwatch. So
I'm going to put her here, out of the fire starters, and I'm going to let her start chipping away at the robot. I think we're going to need to do that.
Want to live through this?
But
Today, Dick
see if he likes that. So,
butt shot.
butt shot. So
Alright,
Grey
okay.
One's still going.
Yeah, it's a shame she's not on fire, so she would die over time.
Shall I give her a grenade or something?
Yeah, at least
She
like-
likes that. Yeah.
There we go.
How about this grey one? Happy Christmas. There you go.
Grenades are just guaranteed damage
Yeah.
as long as you're in range.
Yeah.
They're good for dealing damage and also destroying cover.
So let's have a reload here. Sister Robot's not got any. He's not. I'm not going to use the circuit breaker yet, but we can use the circuit breaker to hold him in position. But it's okay if he wants to move a little bit nearer. He takes one turn to charge his weapon.
Oh no!
Down.
Selma down. It's always that rifle ghoul that gets you.
So the-
Hiding around,
isn't it?
hiding.
And does that mean anything outside of this battle? Like she'll be revived once the
It
if you
depends on
win.
it depends on the difficulty level. We have everything from she'll just be revived and rejoin the party at the end of the battle on the easier difficulties, up to she will revive with half health, all the way up to per death.
Yeah.
On a much harder difficulty.
right.
I'm just going to use the circuit breaker skill that Dux has. It can disable the robot. Because the robot's targeting Dux at the moment. It's going to destroy his cover and destroy, well, maybe him as
Yeah,
well.
it'll probably just
So let's use this. It works like an EMP, so that'll hold
Right.
it in place.
Then
We'll probably
we-
get round to save Selma, but I think we can kill these guys off before that happens. Do I have any
No, you got no ammo.
No ammo, have I? Let me just reload. It's okay. I'll just start bringing him round, and then I'll stick him in Overwatch, but I don't think it's going to hit him. No, I can't do that yet. I've run out of action points.
Alright, okay.
No line of fire. The toilet is blocking the shot.
It's a toilet.
Toilet-based issues again. Alright.
Just shit your problem down.
Yes. Well, what are we going to do about that? I think I'm going to have a go at him. Might damage him
Oh.
from this distance. We'll
Yeah, you
see.
should stealth skin first, man.
I know.
Ah,
Oh,
no,
still
you're
not
right.
dead.
He's gonna come back.
So that means Selma's gonna bleed out this
Where's
turn.
that? Was that ghoul? Is that ghoul right next to him?
Yeah, you got self.
Oh, is that in range of a
Where is he
with a
hiding?
grenade?
Is he hiding along here somewhere?
No, he's there. Just next to Selma.
Is he?
Yeah.
Do you reckon we can get him with the explosion from the guy?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, let's just do it. We'll have a nice finish where he just runs into it.
There we go.
Oh, it hit Borman as well.
Woman took a hit.
I think that ghoul's dead meat as well. Let's see if he snaps.
No,
back in.
he's
It's still going.
covered by the car.
What a
wasn't it?
pain. 61%. Let's take it.
Ah,
Yes.
Nice.
Poor Selma, but she'll come back again. Because we're on a lower difficulty level, so.
Nice work. So that played out a lot differently to like last time I watched you guys play through this. In fairness, you did do it without losing a single character.
Yeah, I think it was me playing last time.
There's not a difference.
Sorry, Matt.
Yeah, I play it differently, but that's the thing, right? The team plays the game differently, so it's quite entertaining when we sit like on a Friday with a beer and watch each other like take shots at the game, right?
Yeah, and it's quite useful from my perspective to see it play out differently and see the sort of more dynamic side of it.
I've also removed the home from the flies. You can see they have no home any longer.
That's a
Again,
really, really important thing.
it's
right
because I got my top hat on. I'm a massive capitalist,
Yeah.
one of the 1%ers. So, and then you've got the little this little thing. Shall we show it?
there. Yeah, why not? I was sure. I was
Okay.
Welcome.
This was sent out to our investors last year when we sent them a demo of the game, just to prove that they played through and just didn't say, yeah, it's all good.
Nice.
Yeah.
And with that, the demo wrapped up. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully.
All right, guys. Well, that's about all I got for you in this video. I'm honestly really excited about this. The game looks sweet. I love the concept. I'm liking pretty much everything I saw about. Actually, I want to check one thing. I want to check one thing if I can find it. Okay, so that's he moved up there. Isn't he?
About that, I think I'm gonna have a go at him. Might damage
Yeah.
him from this.
All right.
up to.
I'm
she will.
waiting to. I want
We can
to.
disable. We'll
Then
probably
we-
get round to save Selma, but I think we can kill these guys off before that happens. Do I have any
I want to see what'll happen when he does the reload.
Reload.
No? Okay, yeah. I think reloads are free. I thought it was this thing up there. Okay, I guess I was wrong. But there we go. So there's a look at Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden. Again, really like the concept. I'm interested to see more out of this game. Can't wait till it launches, all that. Hope you enjoyed this. Tell me your thoughts of the game, or maybe your... if there's anything that you know that maybe I don't, or if there's anything that you'd maybe like to see, and we'll talk about that. You can post any of that down in the comments below. You can send those to me on any of my social media platforms. That's Facebook, Twitter, the website, minds.com. Links, all that stuff is down in the description below. Remember to like, comment. If you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more next time. Until then, guys, I'm AJ Gales. See you on that game channel. Thanks for watching. I'm out.